Boom, 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 and boom. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. We have absolutely tons to talk about this evening. But before we go into that, I just want to ask each of you how you are doing today.
I'm doing pretty well.
You don't all shout at once, do you?
I'm outstanding. Can someone pick up my jaw after that PlayStation event there?
I feel the same way, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. We talked a couple of weeks ago about Stadia dropping the mic, putting 5 games in Pro. What happened there over the last hour or so was dropping the mic.
And I noticed you've got the PlayStation controller behind you there, Duncan, as well.
Yep, we were watching it. I'm not sure if anybody knew that the best way to watch the PlayStation event tonight was the earphones. It's, oh my God, it's next gen is now happening. The goalposts have been moved. It is now time for Stadia to step up.
That's when we're announcing Duncan's decided to leave Stadia Source to go right for OPS 2M or OPS 5M now.
There is a PlayStation Source, actually. I noticed that.
Oh, is there?
I was thinking if they ever want to branch out and do Stadia, then we're in trouble, but oh well. So, we can talk a bit about the PlayStation event in a little bit if you want. But what I want to do first and foremost as well is just introduce our guest for this evening. And basically, you may have seen him around like Twitter and YouTube. His content is actually growing quite rapidly on YouTube at the moment. And the quality of videos that he puts out there are just absolutely immense. Like, it's what I kind of strive to be able to put content out from myself, if that makes sense. So I just want to introduce Jem Stadia to you all, who's down in the bottom left there. How you doing, Jem?
What's up, Stadia Source? Jem here.
Making your debut on the channel?
Sorry?
Making your debut on the Stadia Source channel?
Yeah, it's just my intro. I think you oversold my channel. I don't think I'm that good.
To be fair, from what I've seen so far, it's like I wish like I had your kind of presence, if you know what I mean, when we're doing the type of videos. But yeah, I'm definitely impressed with what I've seen so far, and you've even taught me a couple of things as well.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Yeah, things like when you did the controller code thing, I actually kind of looked into that myself a little bit, and I couldn't get near enough to discovering what you discovered. So
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about some of your findings a little later on, if that's okay. So
yeah, that's fine.
Back to like the PlayStation event then, because I know you guys have just watched this, and we've got a lot of Stadia stuff to talk about as it is anyway. But I want to kind of give you guys a chance to talk PlayStation, because we may be Stadia Source, but we don't ignore the competition. So, I've not watched it, so you've got the benefit of enlightening me.
I feel like Duncan probably would like to say something about the PlayStation event.
Exclusive. Can we see a theme here? It was nothing but exclusive after exclusive. There's going to be some multi-platform games there in the middle as well, but my takeaway was just all the exclusive games coming to PlayStation. That is how you sell your console. That's how you make it worth 500 quid if it's going to be 500.
600.
That 600 was a 2 teraflop one.
Well, it actually got
or 2 teraflops or 2 terabyte. Whatever.
It got listed twice. Once as a 1 terabyte model and once as a 2 terabyte model. But I mean, I will say this: seeing that they're doing a digital only version, which is likely to need more space, do we think that maybe the digital version will be a 2 terabyte and the physical media will be a 1 terabyte?
I think it would need to be that way, yeah.
But when you buy physical media, you always install it anyways. Like you install an entire game, so
you do. but it's quicker to install generally with the media, isn't it? With the disc. Well, depending on your internet speed, obviously, but it's like the old trick with the Xbox where you would have to make sure you were offline to install the game, then go online just to install the patch. Really, a terabyte is nothing now anyway. Like,
Yeah.
it's what, 3-4 games by the look of it.
Like 3 Call of Duty games and you're done.
Oh, don't even go there with Call of Duty. I've literally been downloading it since 7 o'clock this morning, and it finished literally, what time are we on now? It finished 37 minutes ago for a 40 gig update. Well played.
So we were just talking in the chat room beforehand about the fact that a lot of people criticize Stadia for the fact that you don't actually own your games if they're downloads. Now we see a diskless PlayStation coming, which obviously you're going to have to download your games anyway. Do you think that will kind of change people's opinions on that argument about Stadia at all?
No, definitely not. That argument just comes from just hating Stadia. They're not. They're purposely being ignorant. They know the real answer. They just don't want to say it. Even though if they do believe it, they just don't want to say it because it's Stadia. But that's what's going to end up being anyway in like a few years with next gen.
Well, as well as like that, it's like Dan, you've said in the past, and so has your dad, that people still hold on to the physical side. So even though the digital version of the PlayStation is downloadable, they still have the physical console there, unlike Stadia, where it's through the browser or your phone or whatever.
Just want to say, if we're still talking PlayStation here, the proper trailers have just landed. The 4K 60 FPS trailers are now available because we were even just watching that in 1080p.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
We weren't even watching it. We weren't even watching it in the way it was meant to be.
So we're thinking that Stadia is going to have to bring the fire at the next Connect then.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think they will.
If the Connect comes in the shape of what we've had previously, I think we're in some real trouble. Whilst that was a really good show from PlayStation, they've got to keep up the momentum now until sort of, I'd say, April next year, because they listed a lot of games that were coming either this year or early, like fourth Q of this physical year. And after that, we're kind of open now. But I mean, that it was an awesome show, and they're going to get so much traction with this off the bat. At the moment, I'll be honest, nothing stands up to what that was, regardless of platforms or anything. Now, for me, I mentioned in our Slack that actually I feel in a really good place for gaming now because I've got Stadia. I get all the first-party titles on Windows now anyway for Microsoft. And maybe if I looked at a PlayStation, I would have covered pretty much every avenue at that point. But, I mean, within now and the release of PlayStation, other than the exclusive titles, if Stadia can show us that they're going to bring a lot of what we can see coming from these other platforms, then there isn't necessarily a big problem. Yes, there are going to be exclusive titles on PlayStation that are going to make people buy the PlayStation. But we're going to get to a point where we have titles that people are going to want to be a part of Stadia for, hopefully, with the first-party stuff. And Xbox is going to do their bit. But at the moment, it is no contest. PlayStation have the narrative.
Yeah, and it's just actually scary. That last comment, we've got plenty more to show. I haven't shown how everything's going to work. There's just so much more to come, and there's other games coming. But God of War, haven't heard that yet. It's just mind-boggling what's going to go. Going back to Stadia, Stadia comes out in their Stadia Connect, and this is no disrespect to the games I'm going to say. If it's indie game, what's that gonna? That is not going to sell people in the face of what has just happened. When the next Connect needs AAA after AAA after AAA, just to show. And even if it's games going on to Xbox and PlayStation, they need something, because if it's indie game, they're just going to get destroyed.
Do you think there's something to
the
say to be
narrative.
said about the fact that we are still quite early days when it comes to Stadia?
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean, relationships need to be forged still, and these
development
AAAs need time to be developed. Yeah, exactly. So we're probably looking to, well, we need to be looking more into the future, I think, like
Yeah.
maybe into the 2021, for example, before we start getting these big announcements, what we expect from PlayStation and Xbox.
We've just been distracted. It's the typical magpie kind of thing. We've seen something shiny and just been like, wow. But that's the thing with the gaming market, right? It's everything is about now. Nobody cares about what's going to happen in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Right now, they'll care as they go through the year. But like the thing with gaming is, if you demo something or show somebody something and they go, this is coming in 3 years' time, or the hype is gone by the end of that week, because it's a long time to wait or even worry
Yeah,
about
people
something.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing about the PlayStation and everybody else. They are appealing to their base. What was one of the games, Demon Souls, that everybody's been crying, or sorry, the real hardcore. We can go down the hardcore debate again, but we won't. The hardcore audience have been appealed to with the Demon Souls announcement. It's ticked every single box. Out from the games which were shown, we were 20 minutes into it, 25 when I was saying to the guys here, I want every single game on there, and it was all basically all exclusives. This is what Stadia is up against in the short term.
Okay, so kind of moving on from PlayStation then. Obviously, what we like to do when we start off our podcast is just go through what everybody's been playing. So I'm going to bring that up now. Jem, we'll start with you, given that you're our guest. What have you been playing this week?
Does it have to be a Stadia game?
No, it could be absolutely anything. It could be
Okay, so for
Tetris
PC,
or Pong if you wanted.
so for PC, I've been playing Overwatch. That's the only game I play on PC, which is funny because I've been a PC gamer for years.
Yeah.
But for Stadia lately, I got into Grid again. I don't know what it is about that game. Like I don't like I only like arcade racing games, and Grid is an arcade, but I just love the drifting in it, and it just gets me back into it. So I've been playing Grid quite often this week on Stadia.
Okay, Tommy, what have you been playing?
I've tried to play Stadia a few times this week, and I haven't been able to. Well, at times I've literally not been able to. I'm not talking about today. I've just had a load of real bad connection issues recently, mainly with 2K20. So Stadia have reached out to me. Props to them for that. We've tried loads of troubleshooting stuff, and it's a little bit hit and miss at the moment. But then I've tried other games where it's been okay. So it may just be an issue with the 2K series instead. But because of that, I've actually been playing a whole lot of Warzone. Really enjoying it at the moment, and Season 4's launched today, which is what the update was for. Haven't played it yet. And I've been playing through Detroit Become Human, which is... I'm late to that, but I wanted to wait to play it on PC. And so far, that's probably made its way into my top 10 games so far. Really, really enjoying that game. From what I can tell, story-wise, I'm pretty much at the end now. Viva la Revolution. But yeah, that's a really, really good fun game. And interestingly, I don't know if any of you guys have followed or seen this, they're about to release in Twitch a game extension so that the audience can help you with the choices that you can make throughout the game, which would be quite interesting. Yeah. So look out, YouTube.
Adam, what have you been playing?
So I've been quite busy sorting out the interviews for reviewers. However, I have managed to play an awful lot of Monopoly, which included me joining someone's game. I did join a game in progress, and I moved twice, and I went bankrupt, which was always a good thing to do. But Today I had a little bit of something different. I played some Gods and Demons for about
Monsters.
5 minutes. That's the one, Gods and Monsters, before it got taken down. But
We're going to come to that.
we'll come to that later, I guess.
Peasant Boy, what have you been playing?
Damn you. I'll get you back one day. And you, Duncan. Yeah, for me, it's mainly been Power Rangers, because it's an awesome game. Crew 2, PUBG, and with PC, I've been playing Hydro Engineer.
Don't forget you played a bit of Destiny 2 with us last night.
Damn it, I did.
Duncan, what have you been playing? Apart from with yourself before we started streaming.
What you said, you haven't seen something that big before, so I was like, come on. Then I've been playing a bit of Destiny 2. I was checking out the event which happened at the weekend. Check our YouTube channel for coverage to see if you do the pimping here. I've also played a bit of Zombie Army with Kelly. I've played some Minecraft Dungeons. I've played some NHL as well, and some PES and FIFA. I'm playing both, so there we go. So I've had a fairly big mix of games this week, so it's pretty interesting.
So I've been playing Destiny 2, the Crew 2, and I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Shield, just because I realized that I'd got right to the end of the game, like almost where you have to defeat the champion, and I just stopped playing. So I figured I might have to jump into that and actually finish it off so I can say I've completed it. Other than that, I haven't really been playing too much else, I don't think. I think we had a game of Monopoly, but that was about it. So, yeah, that's me. So, moving on then, I'm kind of going to mix up the order in which I've got these down, but I want to first talk about the community update that released today from Stadia. In particular, obviously, the touchscreen controls that we've got now, the resolution options that you can change what resolution you want to play at, and the wider support for mobiles as well. So if anybody hasn't read it yet, there is an article on Stadia Source that you can read, as well as the official community blog as well from Stadia. They're now supporting a bigger array of OnePlus phones, as well as there we go, Duncan's got it down at the bottom, look. As well as all Android phones that can download the Stadia app can now kind of opt in as an experimental feature to be able to play Stadia. That doesn't guarantee that it will actually work on your phone, but it's almost like you spelt experimental wrong there, Duncan.
It was experimenting.
Yeah, so obviously it may or may not work, or it may work only slightly. So it's kind of at your own peril. Probably not the right word for it, but oh well. Yeah, in terms of the touchscreen mobile controls, I got a brief chance to play on Destiny 2 with it as well. And I know, Adam, you were asking about this earlier in terms of when you press like the L2 button to obviously aim down your sight, the L2 button turns into like a mini analog stick as well, so that you can obviously aim down your sight and aim without having to take your finger off. So that was a nice touch. But have any of you guys had a chance to play with that yet?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a fiddle. I've got it up on my phone at the minute. Oh my god!
That's all you're on about.
With children.
Use your words carefully.
Honestly, it's. But yes, no, it's good fun. There are some things that I've noticed. I mentioned this in the previous video that I did with Duncan as this news broke. I've used something before called Remoter to allow me to play games on Steam because I don't like the Steam app. And on that app, you can change the size of the on-screen buttons, and you can change what it is. So you can put like the letter A on there, or you can have it as an analog stick. And I really enjoyed being able to set the size. When I first saw the on-screen touch screen buttons, I thought, oh, they look really, really small. But actually, on my phone and on my tablet, I found it so much easier to play than to play PS4 remote play, for example. And that radial L1 and L2 is fantastic. It made playing the Division a lot easier, but I know Jem had a different experience whilst playing. What did you say you're playing? Crew?
Grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, before I even figured out about the L2 button being like you can move it, I was having trouble braking on Grid, so I just kept hitting walls and stuff, and I just can't brake at all. But yeah, Adam made me realize why that was. But I do want to mention about the experimental phone feature. Even though it says it's for like any Android phone that could download the Stadia app can play Stadia now through the experimental app option, but I found out that you could do it on tablets as well as Android TV as well. So so it's more support than you realize than Google has actually mentioned.
And has anybody seen the option to change your resolution? I've not actually seen it on my phone yet, so I don't know if that's rolled out. But I think that's going to be a big one.
Isn't that only on the Chromecast Ultra? That's what I
yeah,
thought.
that's only on the Chromecast.
That'll be why then.
Yeah,
maybe I need to read the article again. Yeah, I'll have to check that out then. So obviously that's a big one as well, because I know that yesterday we were pushing the limits of what Stadia can do. My brother came round and I basically forced him to make a Stadia account so that I could play PUBG with him. First ever chicken dinner as well, because he carried me basically. And so I'm playing on my PC on Stadia. He's playing on the Chromecast Ultra, and then my missus wanted to play the Crew 2 because she's literally just bought a Chromecast Ultra and a controller off my father-in-law, her dad. So we've got 3 instances of Stadia playing at once on one connection, a 70 megabyte download connection, and it was a little jumpy, but it was still playable. So I was obviously able to drop my quality settings down to the lowest one, which doesn't bother me, to be fair. So I was playing the 720p. So being able to choose what resolution you're playing at is a massive win, if you ask me. So it's something that a lot of the community's been asking for quite a while.
I was about to ask you about that then. I was going to say, like, in terms of getting the connection, so your speed is the same as mine. And I would imagine that if everyone tried to play at 1080p, 10 megabytes is strictly not really the low requirement, is it? You need more than that. People have issues when they play it at 10 megabytes, but if you can get 3 on the low setting, that's pretty fantastic. Still a massive bandwidth, really. Yeah,
I say it only stuttered every minute or something like that. So it was definitely playable. It could be the difference between you getting like sniped in PUBG, for example, though. So you've got to be a little bit careful, but it's definitely playable. I guess it depends on what game you're playing as well, really. So if you were playing Monopoly, for example, it wouldn't really matter. But yeah. So has anybody got anything else to add to this before we move on to the next topic?
I've got a quick one. The next thing that they need to add to this is gyroscopic aiming. It would be awesome if we could play this without having to actually manually aim.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of input to upload when you do gyroscoping. I think that's something the Stadia team probably considered when they were designing their controller.
Yeah, because obviously when you're moving, your any slight movement will have to be registered as an input, wouldn't it?
There's like 3 axes of uploading constantly every I forgot what the word was now. It's like every cycle. Oh, every tick. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Every tick, it will upload 3 axes constantly.
It may be possible in the future. I don't know, but you're definitely right on that one. So I want to move on to a game announcement that we got today, which was Windbound. We had a trailer for it, which if you give me a second, I shall get up on the screen whilst we talk about it. There we go. So have you guys had a chance to check out the trailer for this yet?
No, not yet.
So to me, it looks a little bit like one of the Zelda games. I even saw someone say it's a poor man's Zelda, but this was announced as coming to Stadia. Stadia haven't announced it themselves yet properly, but if we were to skip to the end, you'd see the Stadia logo in the bottom right there, and it's coming on August the 28th.
Oh, that's really nice. Quite soon.
And there we go. There's the Stadia logo there. Look, and obviously you can pre-order it to receive those special items as well. I don't know how that works in terms of Stadia, given that we haven't been able to pre-order as yet. But obviously that changed with the Destiny 2 reveal, which we're going to be talking about later on as well. So it's not currently on the Stadia store, but it could be at some point. We'll have to keep our eyes out on that. So, any of you interested in potentially trying this out? Do you think it'll be a pro game?
I'd try it out. I'd definitely try it out. It looks, to me, I was saying to Duncan earlier when we were talking about this, it's I don't feel like the trailer gives you enough of an idea of what the game actually is, like what you've got to do, whether it's linear or open world, if it's sandbox or. But it looks interesting and it looks good fun. One of those games where, so far, I would have said no, but after being given it as a pro game, I would enjoy it. So I'm going to take the leap this time and just assume that I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, for me, it reminds me a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think it was, that was on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which, again, I really enjoyed that. So for me, I'll definitely give it a go.
Duncan, did you have something to add there?
Yes, I always mute myself because you don't want to hear me rambling and whatnot and calling everybody gobshites. Yeah. For me, it looks like Breath of the Wild. When everybody's talking here, I'm listening away. I'm just checking things in the background, and I can confirm, unfortunately, Resident Evil 8 is not coming to Stadia at this time. It is listed for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC. So that's what I'm doing in the background here. But with Windbound, I'm actually excited about this game, and I think I'll be picking that up on day one.
That's the one thing I like about you, Duncan. You're always in like work mode when it comes to announcements and what's going on. you can be doing a podcast and also checking what news is out there as well, ready to break live on the podcast. So absolutely props to you for that one. So so we'll move on from that one, and unless anybody else has got anything to add to it, or
just visually it looks really good. Like, I love the art style. It's like, I like cartoonish art style anyways, and cel shaded for a lot of reasons, and that game looks visually good from the 10 seconds I've watched on the trailer. But yeah, it looks like something I would actually buy.
So it's by Deep Silver as well, which are obviously the guys behind like your Saints Row and stuff like that. So it's not really an indie game either, if you think about it. I know it kind of looks like one, but
I'll break some more bad news here. The game I was actually talking about in our chat here, the space game, which is called Jet the Far Shore. Again, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and just the Epic Game Store, so no Stadia for that either. So I'm not liking how things are going here at the moment for the sort of maybe third-party things for Stadia. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Duncan Diner, who depresses everybody with like Cyberpunk news and Resident Evil news now and everything.
I'd say I'm over the Cyberpunk issue already, because I don't think I was set up in the way that I think a lot of other people were. I was of the mindset that it was never going to come at the same day. Granted, this had nothing to do with the press release, which apparently told everybody a long time ago that it wasn't coming on the same day. But I just had a feeling that something wasn't right about it. But I don't think we need to go into this. I think that's it's a matter that we need to kind of let go of.
Yes, I think we're doing.
Well, it was a talking point, but I mean, I think to be fair, I didn't want to spend too long on it anyway, because I know that it's been kind of done to death. And I think every single content creator out there in the Stadia community, and even those that aren't in the Stadia community, have picked up on this and done some article about it. So, yeah, obviously, I just want to give Duncan a slap on the wrist for ruining everybody's hopes and dreams with this one.
Also, I do want to point out there is a chance, like I don't know, like 50% chance that we might be getting the next gen version of Cyberpunk. That could be the reason why it's delayed. It really does matter on when the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X announcements for Cyberpunk is announced. If it's day on day with the Stadia version, then it's a good assumption that we're getting the next gen version as well. But again, that's like a 50% chance. The other chance could just be, well, Cyberpunk is a huge game. It's been in development for like over 5 years, and Stadia development was towards the end of it, so it could go either way.
I'm still here. So yeah, I just want to kind of get like I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want to get a snapshot view from you guys as to what you think regarding the press release disappearance and then reappearance with slightly different wording, which actually left us no better off than what it was before. What do you think that was about?
For me, it was the word debut was taken off, which I thought was interesting. And it's leading me more into that GeForce Now has an exclusive cloud deal in place because they made the big song and dances coming day and date to GeForce Now. Plus, they have the deal in place with the graphics card as well. So that is my hot bad take regarding that. I think GeForce Now have pulled some strings there.
Anybody else got anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with Duncan, but I think that the only reason they did it is because they're trying to save face from all of the publishers and developers that have pulled out from GeForce Now. Whereas with Stadia, we're still trying to build them up. With GeForce, they were dropping like flies. So I can understand why they went, oh, hang on, it's coming late to Stadia anyway. Why don't we throw some more money at it and we'll get exclusive rights? Or whatever it is, because obviously it's not going to be exclusive. Yeah, it's cloud exclusive, I guess.
Okay, so we'll kind of move on from this because, like I said, it's been absolutely done to death. So let's move on to some more Stadia news. So we actually got a release date for Relicta, which it was kind of hidden away on the. I'll bring up my screen here. It was the Escapist Indie Showcase. And if you scroll down, we actually got a release date there for Stadia, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It looks like it's coming on August the 4th, 2020. So it's in line with the other consoles, which is great, which is what we like to hear. So anybody excited for this one? I know we've spoke about it in a previous podcast. Duncan, you look excited for it?
Yep, my sort of game, my sort of jam. With it being the 4th of August, do you think that rules about being a pro game for that month? Because I think a lot of us were thinking that could be a possible pro game.
Yes, I think so too.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that game. It's not Portal-like, but it's the puzzle sort of game, which everybody, anything remotely looks like Portal, everybody says. But yeah, that's the game for me, 100%.
Speaking of Portal, did you like the Turing test?
I love the Turing test. It's really, it's not too difficult, but it's the right sort of limit bar. That's a couple of the stupid ones where they've been doing it in, where you had to work out things in your head. And I'm going, no, I'm just going to use a puzzle for that with all the different equations. But bar them ones, yeah, I love the Turing test. And 100% of it using guides, but we won't mention that part.
Cheater. I was actually quite surprised by it. I was around my father-in-law's house, and he was like, he basically almost forced me to put Stadia on and just play something. I don't know why. I think he wanted me to shut up or something. And I thought, well, I kind of need to play something. I couldn't be bothered to play anything else, so I just put the Turing test on. And actually, he ended up getting into it as well because he's very puzzle-minded. So he was obviously telling me what to do when I was stuck as well. So I think it was a game we could kind of play together, even though I was only playing. Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be fun. I mean, the Turing test I've only played the beginning of, and I really enjoyed that. Actually, I just haven't got around to playing more of it. But out of the two, I know when they launched the two, Portal was the exact kind of, again, vibe that I was getting from both of those games. They seem similar-ish in some ways. But I'm looking forward to getting in and actually playing it.
Yeah. Stadia broke. So it went down for probably about half an hour or so. Nobody could access a game. Anybody that was in a game, they eventually got kicked out of the game, and it just said you need to reopen the game to carry on playing. We also noticed as well that Netflix went down around about the same time. Not saying they're related at all, but probably just a coincidence. So yeah, Stadia didn't actually message any like Twitter or Facebook or anything to say that there was an outage. In fact, it took the Bungie help Twitter account to actually put a notice out saying that Stadia users are having trouble logging in at the moment. So what do you guys think of that?
So for me, that was another one of those annoying issues where Stadia, again, on social media, kind of takes a back step and just like lets everything go through. But like I said, it wasn't until Bungie put out the message that it was like, oh, okay, this is an actual thing then. But yeah, even if Stadia were just there like, yeah, we're just doing some maintenance or just something, just to say that they acknowledge that something's going on with Stadia at the moment.
For me, I think what was going on was the reason Stadia wasn't saying anything to anyone was because there was an incredible amount of damage control going on in the background, and someone high up said to all the PR and marketing people, they just went, say nothing, do not engage with anyone. We will get this sorted quickly. And I was speaking to people earlier in Discord when it was happening, and I was saying this is just what I think was going on. Is Stadia disabled something that allows you to play. They didn't just shut down the servers, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to load the site, or not necessarily the site, but there'd be lots of features within the site that wouldn't work, not just the games. But I think they disabled something that allows you to play a game, but it doesn't take effect straight away. It staggers how it turns everything off. And they were waiting for the player count to hit 0 before they did some sort of jiggery in the background, because we know that everyone had the game removed from their account and their transaction history, but I do still have it in my receipts, so they owe me a game. And
That you paid nothing for.
Well, yeah, but still. And then I think what happened was, as soon as they'd finished that, and they would have been working so hard on that, whatever it was, removing all this stuff from people's accounts and whatnot, and making sure, put this in the right place, put that over in Ubisoft's development section, don't put it in the live store. And then they went, right, we can turn it all back on again. That's what I think happened. It might not be the case, but yeah.
I think you've pretty much that's my take on what's happened. It's just accidentally rolled out to public instead.
I was thinking, like what happened was the slow rollout started just before all this disconnection stuff had happened. So I was thinking that there was something wrong with the update system that forced people to kick out during the update process, because once the Stadia servers went back up, everyone started having that experimental tabs and stuff, like all those features promised today appeared right after the service started coming back. So I just think it was a coincidence with the God and Monster stuff. I think this was just an update system gone wrong.
Yeah. Tommy, I'm aware you're wanting to go now, so
yeah, I got to head off, but I shall still be listening alongside anyway. But yeah, I will. I'll catch all you guys later. Hopefully, you enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, thanks
See you
for
later,
being
guys.
here with us.
Farewell.
Ciao.
So one of the things that obviously is glaringly obvious by all of what's happened today is just Stadia's lack of communication. We had a game announcement that, you know what I mean, we didn't get anything in the community blog. Oh, here's Lee. Sea Troops, how you
Hello.
doing?
Hey,
I'm not too bad. How are you
Tagging
guys?
in for Tommy there.
Yeah, swapping over.
So, I don't know if you
Can
can
I-
find when
I was going to say, can I jump in with my bits of news here, which I have found?
Well, yeah, I'll give you 2 seconds in a minute, Duncan. I just want to say, Lee, if you've been following along, if you've been watching live, so if there's anything that we've said that you want to come back to later on,
Yeah, no worries.
feel free to just raise it as well.
Yeah, will do.
I just want to finish what I was saying about the Stadia communication, then I'll let Duncan have his time to crush everybody's hopes and dreams again.
I'm waiting for it.
So, yeah, we had a game announcement that Stadia said nothing about. We had a release date which Stadia said nothing about. We had downtime that Stadia said nothing about. We had Duncan, stop pulling those faces, man. We had a leak which nothing has been said about, and also up until today we'd almost had like 2 weeks of no communication from Stadia. Now, there may have been legitimate reasons for that, and I think some people have speculated it might have something to do with like what's going on right now in like the protests in America and stuff like that, which if that was the case, that's absolutely fine. But I just think some communication to say that that's what was happening would have been preferable, if that makes sense. So yeah, Duncan, go ahead, ruin everybody's lives.
Okay, do you want me to start with the slightly positive news or the negative
Nah,
news?
just rip the
Negative.
band-aid.
No.
Yeah.
Crush our hopes
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dreams.
We're our hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Pragmata, not listed for Stadia. It is listed for Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC. Why this one is significant? This is not due until 2022. So there's no real excuses about it's too close. This game is coming in 2022. So this one is a bit of a shock for me. So there we go. There's hopes and dreams that are killed. There is a next gen port of Control coming. Have a guess what's happening there?
It's not coming to
Stadia.
Not coming to Stadia. Deathloop, which wasn't actually, it's made by Bethesda, isn't it? That is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but also coming to PC. And I'm not sure if that was actually said during the presentation. For me, that was one of the standout games for me. We'll end with a bit of positivity. GTA 5 is not just coming to PlayStation 5, it is coming to other consoles as well in an updated form. So there's a possibility that we may get GTA 5. But a lot of these games are coming out now and saying Stadia isn't even being mentioned. And this is, for me, now a concern. Especially that Pragmata one. Because that had me really intrigued, and with it being 2022, that is a real bombshell for me. And I've killed everybody.
just end this podcast now, shall we?
Yeah.
Or just go home.
I thought you were going to end that with GTA 5's announced for Stadia.
No, he could have done. Like,
I was just waiting at the edge
just
of my
lie
seat.
to us. Just lie to us. Duncan,
It's
please.
announced for other consoles.
They're just doing it next generation consoles. So, but they're saying consoles rather than console when they're
Yeah.
talking. So I think there's a
Well, it's,
possibility.
it's Xbox and Stadia, so... yeah.
It's PlayStation and Switch too.
Oh my god, if that game comes on Switch and not Stadia, that's it.
Yeah, so this is, I'm just breaking that. The Capcom news there with that game is actually a real shock for me, and it is a concern. It is a big, massive concern, despite my positive article earlier. And this is really worrying. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's not. it doesn't mean it's not coming. If Stadia is holding all this information for Connect, it's a big, massive mistake. I'm telling you that now. They need to be saying this is coming now. What has Xbox done? Literally now, in the last 5 minutes, Major Nelson, one of the communication guys there, has retweeted this is coming to Xbox Series X as well, so don't be wearing your knickers about it. So they need to get out there and just start talking. If it's coming, they shouldn't be hiding it. But all these press releases which are coming are not mentioning Stadia.
So I have to say, I slightly hope if it is held back for Stadia, I do hope it is for the Connect, just to be the one odd one out. Just so when we do get the Connect, we get like a massive drop of games and future, not exclusives, but future content.
Yeah, so we just have to wait and see what happens at the next Connect, I guess. So, yeah, thank you for the doom and gloom, Duncan, as always.
Stadia need to buy Rockstar.
We do have a section later on where Duncan's going to kind of enlighten us a bit more and try and bring the mood up. So before we go into that, though, I just want to kind of touch on. I know I actually had a brief podcast with my father regarding this. He actually debuted on the Stadia Source channel as well because he's a massive Destiny 2 fan, even more so than I am. But we had the Destiny 2 reveal the other day, which obviously revealed the future of Destiny 2. Lots of content dropped, such as we've got a new expansion coming called Beyond Light. We've got the Season of Arrival, which is happening as we speak. We got pre-orders available for Stadia, as I mentioned earlier as well, so you can pre-order the expansion Beyond Light. We got information about whether they're going to be making a Destiny 3, for example, and it turns out at this point in time they are not. They are just going to continue supporting Destiny 2 into 2022 at the very least. So, and I know they had that live event, which you also took part in, Duncan, the smashing up of the Almighty ship. So that whole 90-minute event, was it, or something that could have been shortened into 30 seconds? But
yeah, it was a whole lot enough with I'm going to just call them fireworks crashing into each other. Everybody loved my technical terms during this Destiny thing. Megan Kelly's talking about it. The fireworks hitting each other, and the spaceship exploding and crashing to the earth. Yeah, it was a whole lot enough, and then it's like a game of PUBG. It's a whole lot of nothing followed by 30 seconds of complete madness. So.
So I remember the Destiny Twitter. They literally uploaded a GIF of it, and it literally took about 30 seconds for the entire GIF to complete. So, yeah. I enjoyed watching you watch it though, Duncan, because you knew nothing about what was going on, but that was quite entertaining. More so than probably what it would have been if I'd have done that kind of live stream. So props to you for that. Anybody else excited for this, or do you think the Destiny kind of ship has sailed?
I just want to mention something here. I bought the game thinking I could cancel the pre-order. Guess what?
You can.
Can you? It's DLC. It's not actually a game, and it gives you stuff straight off. So if I made a balls and bought that, so
you've got to play it now.
I've got to play it now. Yeah. So just be worried about that.
So normally, obviously, you can cancel a pre-order. So,
but because you're getting actual stuff in it straight away, I've got some stupid wee doodads. What are they called?
Yeah, you get an emote, a ghost.
Yeah.
That's how they
and all
get
that.
you.
Exactly.
To add to that, Dan, if it was just a pre-order, the way that they've done it, they actually breached their own terms and conditions or whatever it is. I was asking Duncan about it because in their terms and conditions it says that if you pre-order anything, that they will email you to let you know that you've pre-ordered, and they won't take the money until the stuff, the game or whatever it is that you've pre-ordered is available. And that's why I was like, well, hang on, why have they taken the money straight away then? But as Duncan said, it's because they also, which is very sneaky in my opinion, they also give you a little bit of crap so that you've got access to it right now. And that's how they've gotten around that.
Mm. Lee, are you into Destiny at all? Or
I do enjoy Destiny 2, but
yeah,
as I said on Twitter the other day, I watched the second reveal. I did watch bits of Duncan's one. I was dropping in and out, and I thought that was just boring as anything. But not you, Duncan. The reveal.
keep lying.
and it made me excited to play Destiny 2 and get back into it. But as I said on Twitter, when I go into Destiny 2, I have no idea what's going on. I have absolutely not a clue what I'm doing.
I think I've seen someone write somewhere that like the trailers for Destiny make you want to play Destiny, but playing Destiny makes you not want to play Destiny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sums up better than that. Yeah, exactly.
They should put that in the description of the game.
Yeah, I tend to come in and out of the game, to be fair. I mean, I go hard for a little bit and then...
Daniel!
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
It's only for a little bit, so it's fine.
Yeah, and then I go soft again after playing it for a certain period of time, so...
One thing I noticed, by the way, is I actually forgot to do this on the bloody event reveal day, but the player count on Destiny hasn't really shifted. It's gone up by 1,000 yesterday. I get yesterday's figures, but it was 7,000, 7,000, 7,000, 7,000, and then today it's gone 8,500. So, you know,
to be fair,
there's only 400 people bloody doing raids every single day. No wonder I could never get anyone to do them with me.
To be fair, I think with this drop at the moment, there hasn't really been that much content. I think you may see that number increase when the Beyond Light comes out.
Yeah.
Because this is just another season. If you think about it, it only has a few missions and a few new weapons and stuff like that. It's not a full-blown expansion with like a new world and stuff like that. So.
Cross-platform will help it as well when that comes, but I think that's 2021, isn't it? It's not going to be anytime soon, is it? Yeah.
So this isn't so much Stadia news, but I think it's worth mentioning anyway because it does kind of affect Stadia in some way. So I don't know whether you guys are aware, but Destiny 2 is about 100 and I can't remember the exact figure, but it's between 120 or 150 gigabytes or something on PlayStation and Xbox, just because there's that many expansions and that much content that it's getting to the point where it's filling up most people's hard drives and they don't want to make the game bigger than it already is because it's going to start taking the piss even more than it already is. So what they're planning to do is kind of recycle some of the content from the previous Destiny and bring it up to date with the current Destiny, but then also retire some of the content that's in Destiny 2 at the moment and put it in something called the Vault. So it's not entirely gone completely, but it's just some of the less popular missions and the less popular weapons and armor and stuff like that. It will go in a Vault, and then you may or may not ever be able to play it again. It depends on what the public thinks. So that way they can kind of cut out some of the content on Destiny and still support it into 2022, but without making the game absolutely massive in terms of file size. So obviously us Stadians don't have to worry about that because we don't have to worry about storage space. But do you guys think that's a good thing, or?
I mean, we haven't even started next gen, and there's already storage problems, and they're trying to figure out solutions already. And this obviously affects Stadia as well. Like, yes, we can get any size game, and there's no downloading updates. But if other consoles are being cut down, then we are also taking that suffer as well.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways it's good because we've already been confirmed that, for example, if you were a Destiny 1 player, you might remember the Cosmodrome, which was like an explorable area, probably one of the first places you actually go to in Destiny. And you also had the Vault of Glass raid as well, which to this day is probably most people's raid of choice in terms of the amount of fun that you can have in a raid. And I know I spoke about it with my father as well. A lot of people don't really ever get to the raids in Destiny, and they make their minds up about Destiny before they get to the raids. And in my opinion, the raids is what sets Destiny apart from most other games. They are so much fun. They can be annoying as hell, but if you get it right, they can be so much fun. So them bringing back older content from Destiny 1 is actually going to keep the game fresh, in my opinion, because a lot of people obviously have come to Destiny 2 purely because it was on Pro for Stadia. They didn't play Destiny 1. So they're missing out on an entire game's worth, about 4 years worth of content. And obviously at the start of Destiny 2, if you were a Destiny 1 player, you actually lost all of your weapons and all of your powers and stuff like that, and you have to regain them. So obviously for them to make a Destiny 3, they would kind of have to do that thing again where you lost all your weapons and start afresh, and they don't want people to have to do that. So
Yeah. The Destiny 2, what's it called? The Fault is going to be interesting going forward. I think, did you discuss that during your show, which I was watching, that this could be a selling point for Stadia, and they could just have everything in rotation in Stadia because there's actually no storage requirements. So it could be trying to push Stadia as the best place to play, just like the Elder Scrolls Online could be the best place for games to play, for that game to play online, because no storage spaces and it's all cross platform buying as well. So yeah, I think we've got some interesting things going. Have I just killed the mood with all these bad news stories? Because everybody seems like, no.
Yeah. What I do want to do then is kind of moving away from Destiny. I want to give Gem a chance to shine. You are our guest after all today, so I want to kind of talk about what you found regarding the store lists on Stadia. So obviously, way back when we were kind of early days of Stadia, I think the website had just come out on Google Chrome, so you could browse the store list and stuff like that. I actually found quite a lot of store listings on Stadia. So things like, for example, pre-orders and demos and stuff like that. And then Gem went and found a load more, didn't you? So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I just I saw your content last year actually, and it's something that I've always monitored because it ended at like 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've always monitored, okay, when is 41 coming out or whatever, and it came out like a few weeks ago, and I noticed that the error page was different, so I knew that something was coming. And I was just looking through the source code and everything, and then I realized, oh, if I just refresh, I can actually see the title of the head page for a second. So I just stop it there, and then from there I went all the way to 100, and I didn't even stop there. I realized that Google has like this system where 1000 means like topics of the games, like adventure, action, puzzle, and so on, and then 3001 was wish list. Then you got like 5000, no, 4000 is companies, and then 5000 are like special game events. Like the last one is PUBG, and I'm just monitoring what's coming up after that. So yesterday or the day before, I found out that from the game category section, which is in the 1000s, there's there's one called classic games. I thought that one was interesting because what does a classic game even mean? Because we got Dragoon Panzer, and that's a game from the mid-90s, but the version we're playing on is like a remaster that was for the Switch, and then it got ported to Stadia. Does that count as a classic game, or is that just a remaster? And if it doesn't count as a classic, then what are the classic games then? What are we getting in the future? Another one that caught my interest was MOBA. There is absolutely no games for Stadia that has MOBA. Like, we don't have any MOBA games. We don't know any MOBA games in the future. But obviously, they created a store section for MOBA games. So at some point, I'm hoping maybe this year, I would assume it's this year, we will be hearing at least one MOBA game. I highly doubt it's going to be League of Legends or Dota 2 or Heroes of Storm. It's going to be like some probably an indie company making a MOBA game. It could even be a first title from Google. We don't know. And then another one was Dating Simulator. Again, we don't know any games that fit that description. There is no dating simulator. And I was looking into this further, and for some reason, I think we're gonna get Dream Daddy. I don't know why I came to that conclusion, but I keep thinking Dream Daddy is the game that we're gonna get on Stadia. Um, and there was other stuff like trials and demos. Like there was more expansion on that. Like what was it? It was like play after you demo or something. I forgot what the title was. It was
Oh,
like
it's
play after
continue
you
playing
try.
or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something like that, and that obviously just means you're playing you play the demo or a trial, and then it takes you to like the store section will say, "Hey, you tried this game, why don't you buy it if you liked it?" So there's like a lot of quite cool store listings in there. So one of them is Summer Game Sale, and we're in summer basically in like a week. So I think that's the first thing we're gonna see, like Summer Game Sale this year. I don't think they created that for next year. But yeah, we're just waiting for the Connect. Like we're just hoping. At the end of the day, we're just hoping this next Connect that we're gonna get in summer. We're just hoping that it's gonna be big. It's gonna like there was nothing wrong with the previous Connects, but I will be disappointed if it's the same like amount and same like stuff we're getting because everyone is showing their big guns, if you will. Every company, every gaming company, and every platform right now in the Summer Game Fest, they're showing their big announcements and stuff. They're giving it all. So I honestly expect the same thing from Google with this next Connect. And if it is weak, then that is going to be a huge hit on Stadia, and I truly believe that.
So I just want to bring up the article here as well. You can find this on Stadia Source, but I highly urge you to obviously check out the original video from Gem here. Here's some of the I don't know if you can see them. I'll try and zoom in for you. So you mentioned like we've got summer deals coming as well. We've got Black Friday deals, holiday deals, back to school, New Year. So yeah, there's obviously lots of sales on the horizon as well. I know there's a few people that have been asking about sales recently. I think we get one on every single video at the moment asking about sales, and unfortunately we don't know when those sales are going to be yet. But it's nice to see that they're there. Whether we will see, sales soon, it remains to be seen, because it, like you said, it could be for next year, for example, or it could just be a placeholder in case they end up doing one, which they may not. So buy it again. That was I want to touch on that one with you as well. So that to me, and I think you said the same, Jem, as well, but correct me if I'm wrong, is, for example, if you asked for a refund for a game.
Yeah, I came to the same conclusion, but then other people made different assumptions that also made sense. Like someone said that it could just be your Stadia Pro subscription. Maybe it expired and it's like, hey, do you want to buy it again? Or it could be like PUBG Gold or whatever, like microtransactions. But I don't know. I don't think Google would do microtransactions as in like, would you buy it again? But Stadia Pro subscription makes sense to me. But my original conclusion was it's probably like refunds. Like, would you buy the game again that you refunded before?
Yeah, maybe if an update came out or something to it.
Yeah.
Which makes it better.
Now that I'm looking at the list, actually, there was another interesting one, which was weekly sales. That's something we haven't actually had. We might have, like, I remember a few months ago, we did actually keep having like weekly sales. Like every week we had new sales, but this one is literally a category where it basically suggests that we're going to have this one section where we're going to have like a weekly rotation of sales. Like, I don't think these are going to be like you get one sale on like let's say Monday, it's not going to last for like 3 weeks or anything. I think these are going to be like hot week sales. Like it's going to be from Monday to Sunday, and if you miss it, then there's going to be a new rotation on Monday, for example. That's what I think is going to happen with that.
Okay. Adam, you've got news apparently.
Yeah, so I have just sent the link to the article in the Slack. As Jem was explaining his finds, and honestly, this guy is doing some incredible investigative journalism. I'm surprised we haven't. I'm surprised we haven't pilfered you yet. I had a notification on my phone from The Verge, and it says all Google Assistant devices will be able to tell who's talking to them. You might be thinking, what's that got to do with Stadia? Let's not forget Google Assistant is in Stadia. It's coming to Chrome. We know it's coming to Chrome. They announced it. It was actually already meant to be here. It was announced as a Q1 feature. And it says that they are going to be bringing them to the voice recognition. So, for example, I've got a Google Home. Thank God it's not here, because otherwise it'd probably be going crazy. And if I said, if I say it, my bloody phone's going to go off. If I said, Google, what's my name? It'll say, hi, your name is Adam. If my partner says the same question, then Google go, hi, your name's Zach. If I say set a reminder for, I don't know, to do the washing in the morning, it will pop up on my phone. If Zach does it, it'll pop up on his phone. Now, our Stadia accounts are linked to our Google Assistant accounts. It's all one big ecosystem. I think what will be coming very soon is for the ability for me to say, Google, play Destiny 2, and it loads my account on Destiny 2 on whatever it is. And if my partner was to do it, or if someone else was to do it, it would load their account on their game. And that might work really well with family sharing as well when that comes. Does anyone else have any speculation about it? What we could what this could mean if we had voice match?
I was always worried that, for example, if you were playing a game and you'd got one of those Google Homes, that someone could just walk in and say, okay, Google, play whatever, and it would kick you out of your game, you know what I mean, without even saving, without even asking you, and then load the new game up. So this could be a good way, for example, to say, well, say if your partner says play a game whilst you're playing, it might go, well, hang on a minute, Adam's playing at the moment, so you know what I mean? I don't want to kick him off to let your partner play without obviously verifying first that that's something that you want to be able to do. And maybe you can turn it off and on per person as well. So you can say, I only want you to load said game on my Stadia when I say it. If anybody else says it, just ignore them.
Yeah. I also think that we need to be able to turn off the stop keyword for Google, because I'm fed up of telling it to stop. For example, I might have music playing on my Google Home whilst I'm playing on Stadia, and I'll say, okay, Google, stop, and it will turn the Stadia off and leave the music running, and I'll be there going, for God's sake, I was in the middle of I was ploughing my bloody fields then.
As long as that's all you're ploughing.
By the way, next time that happens, just try just saying stop without the hey keyword part, because I realized that when I play music, I could just say stop and it actually just stops without saying hey keyword.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know they've done that with the timers. I know they introduced that because he told me, he said, oh, you don't have to say anymore. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'll definitely try that out. It'll still stop me from plowing my fields.
See, two things that I had about the assistant is when it's on the phone, I love it. But when I got the Google Home Mini a while ago, no matter what I'd say, it would always pick up on both my phone and the Mini, rather than choosing one over the other. But for me, while it can be handy having assistant for Stadia, personally, I don't see it as a big thing when I can just put my phone out and have a quick Google while I'm still playing.
Speaking about that voice matching thing, we can take it further and implement it into the games itself. Like we already know that Stadia has AI where you can give it words, and the AI will react to whatever word you gave it to. But we can take this into the next level where it can recognize your voice, and maybe you're playing a multiplayer game and you're giving out player A is giving out one voice one voice command into the game, and then player two is shouting at a different word, and then the game is able to tell who's player one, player two just from the voice, and adding it to the AI and whatever.
That'd be incredible. And then link it with Chimera. That'd be like PlayLink without your phones.
Link it
Just
to what,
spoken.
Duncan? Project?
Chimera.
Yes! I'll take that. So,
Speaking of which, I want to say bye to Jem and thank you for joining us here. I am going to leave and bring in someone who Dan can talk about. Because Dan's going to talk it. Is Ash still awake down there? Peasant boy!
Yes. I've been awake the whole time.
I thought it was waiting for Henry Hank again. And I will go and let our new person come on board here. So I will say bye, everybody. And Ash, your gobshite. So that's me away.
bye, Duncan.
Damn you.
See ya.
Good
Right,
riddance.
so basically, we've got a new person that's going to be joining us on the podcast now, and also on Stadia Source as well. And I'd like to introduce you to Avery, who's going to be one of our reviewers on the site. How are you doing, Avery?
Good. I'll say good evening. I know it's a little bit later where you guys are. I'm on the east coast of the United States, so hello from across the pond.
Hey.
So I had no idea you were going to be jumping in today, but it's nice to see you. We've
Neither
not
did I.
actually formally announced you on the website yet, so this is kind of breaking news, if you like.
Oh.
So yeah, how are you finding Stadia as a whole?
Stadia has been a fantastic experience for me because I'm the person whose last real like console other than the Switch was the PlayStation 2 I had in college. So to be able to play these games that have come out, everybody, we've already played Assassin's Creed. I didn't. I've never played Odyssey. We've already played Final Fantasy 15. I didn't, and I've wanted to for years. So to finally be able to get in and actually play these things on Stadia, and for them to be solid, and I can play them on any device I want, and I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I am loving it, and I've been very happy so far.
Great. It's great to have you with us on the team as well. I know you're yet to start like writing some reviews and stuff for us on the website, but looking forward to kind of seeing what content you can produce for us. So
Yeah. Exciting.
We've only got a couple more things left to really talk about, one of which was actually something that Duncan was supposed to be talking about, but obviously he can't now, so we will do it in his place. That's not a problem at all. One thing I want to get Jem's take on as well is the Razer Kishi, which is a handheld device that you can plug your mobile phone into.
Yeah, I'm getting mine tomorrow, apparently, according to Razer, even though it got shipped from Hong Kong yesterday, but I'm glad to see how that's going to work out tomorrow. I'm also planning to somehow record it, but the thing is, I use my phone to record stuff, so I'm trying to figure out how am I going to record my phone. But anyways, what this Razer Kishi is it's basically like turning your phone into a Nintendo Switch. Basically, you have like these think of Joy-Cons, but they're not actually wireless, they're wired to each other.
Yeah.
And you can pull them like left and right and just slip your phone in there. And the awesome part is you need Android 8 and above, and it works like plug and play. I don't think you download any apps or anything, and it works plug and play. I think, don't quote me on that. And the thing is, it can work on Android games, it can work on GeForce Now, it can work on xCloud, and more importantly, it can work on Stadia. And I can't wait to try this out tomorrow. The cost for this in the UK, I think it was £85, something like that. And it says it on the site actually, $80 if you're in the US.
Yeah.
I think it was £85 in the UK.
Mhm.
And more features about it. It's wired only. It has a USB-C port on the bottom, so you can charge your phone while you're gaming. So it really is like a Nintendo Switch that for your mobile, and basically for Stadia. That's how I see it, and I just can't wait to play this tomorrow. Oh, you got the clickable buttons as well. The L3 and R3, they're clickable. You got the triggers. It's pretty much like an Xbox controller type of layout. And
The colours are all jumbled. I've just noticed that might be confusing.
yeah, and that's about it really with the Kishi. Just can't wait to try it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to get a follow up on that. You'll probably do one on your channel anyway, won't you? So
Yeah, I'll
everybody
try
go and check out Stadia Gem's YouTube channel tomorrow for that follow up.
Yeah, if you check my channel out if you want to see my hairy arms on the Kishi.
So we've got a few people just saying hi to you there, Avery. So
thank you. Yeah, it definitely looks like. I mean, you get the Switch vibes from it right away, and I do.
You muted yourself.
Of course, I muted. That's how I make my debut: is just talking randomly into space.
Doing a Duncan, that is.
See, that's why I got that slot. I mean, the Switch vibes are instantaneous, but it's also interesting. You've got the upper left, lower right, which I noticed on the touch controls that released today as well. They did the same thing: upper left stick, lower right stick. Despite the fact they didn't want to do that on the controller, so I'm sure this will make a lot of people happy that kind of prefer that swapped out layout.
So anybody else here picking one of them up other than Gem?
Not at that price tag, absolutely not. I've got 2 Stadia controllers that I can use with my phone. I've got touchscreen controls. I've got 2 PS4 controllers, and I could pick up a Steam controller if I wanted to. I can't justify the expense just to play it on my phone when I bought an Ausley clip. I'm happy with that. I don't need an £85 joystick. No.
Do you think this will be more about like portability, for example? Because this, like you can see in this here, it can fold down into quite a small package. So therefore, if you wanted to take your phone out somewhere with you and just kind of pull it out, put your phone in, and away you game, do you not think it's going to be decent for that?
I'm going to answer that question with a question.
Okie dokie.
Have you ever been out playing a game on your phone with a controller? Or I've had things that are a little bit like that, where you pull them out and I don't know what they're called, but you mount your phone inside them. Have you ever been out doing something like that and not had funny looks? I don't think it really matters what you've got in terms of portability. Everyone's going to look at you and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, but I think it's when it comes to the Switch, it's kind of. It's not as frowned upon, if you know what I mean.
It's a known quantity.
Switch, yeah. People know what you're doing, so
yeah.
Maybe you're just getting funny looks in general, not because of what you're doing.
Maybe.
As opposed to having the claw, where it's that. I think that would give you more. If you're on the train, the bus, whatever, that's going to be a little more. And hey, maybe that's a perfect opportunity for somebody to say, "What is that?" And I don't know if I really want strangers talking to me on the train, but it's an option.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to obviously sell Stadia as potential new person as well. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Mostly, I'm just gonna use it while I'm in the bathroom, and I don't want to bring my Stadia controller and a claw thing, plastic wrapped around my phone. That was the main reason why I bought it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Honesty is the best policy.
Well, it's fascinating that the Jungle Cat is still on sale, and it's on Amazon right now for $99.99 US. So it is more expensive, a couple of years old, and I guess it's Bluetooth as opposed to the USB-C, but that's kind of fascinating.
Lee, are you partaking in one?
If it was to drop in price in a sale, maybe, I think. But like Adam said, yeah, I mean, I've got 2 Stadia controllers, I've got 2 Xbox One controllers, I've got a PS4 controller. I bought the Orsley grip as well, which is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. So thanks to Adam for the tip on that one. So if it was in sale and dropped in price a lot, yeah, maybe.
And Ash, I'm not going to ask you because you're poor and you can't afford things.
Oh,
like that.
great one, great. No,
that's why they call you peasant boy, is it?
I'm a lord, goddammit. Just you wait. Or break your Xbox that you never use, or I'd sell it.
Aren't you a mayor soon as well, Ash?
No, that's when I can next go to America, which with everything going on probably won't be for a while. But that is next. No, for me, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of having it like that. I do prefer just having it attached to the controller and just being able to play like that.
Absolutely. So moving on then, I think this is probably going to be our last topic for the evening, unless anybody else has got anything they want to touch on. I know, obviously, like Lee and Avery were late to the podcast, so I'll give you guys a chance to kind of go over anything that you might have missed that we've spoke about. But that was Duncan's article about the 5 reasons to be positive about Stadia. We've had a lot of doom and gloom recently regarding Stadia. So Duncan actually went and kind of put down his thoughts on 5 things that we can be positive about Stadia to try and lighten the mood up. And a lot of people messaged him saying, thank you, this is kind of what we needed right now. So obviously, I just want to touch on these quickly, and then we can go and get anybody's thoughts if they want to add anything to it. So the first is obviously where Creator coming to Stadia, which we've spoken about before on the podcast as well. The tool that you'll be able to use to create your own games within Stadia, and obviously you can play them, share them with your friends, and even potentially sell them at one point as well. So any of you guys that haven't already spoken on the podcast about this, have you got any thoughts on Creator?
Where you can sell your levels? What can you sell?
So someone asked, obviously you're aware of what Creator is and the fact that you can create your own games and stuff. So if it gets to the point where something that you've created is actually something that people would want to pay money for, you can actually sell your creations in like a sort of in-game marketplace. It isn't going to be there at launch, and obviously I think they've got to work the ins and outs of things like commission and stuff like that. So, but they have confirmed that's something they're looking into as well.
Yeah, I remember they also mentioned that they're doing a tournament or something, or a leaderboard.
The prize fund.
Yeah, that's it. Where if you come first, you get $5,000, I think it was, and then I worked out that converts into 41 years of Stadia Pro. So I'm gonna go for that.
Wow,
that's my goal.
That's when they turn around and say they're not giving you in cash; they're giving it you in Stadia Pro membership.
It's Crata bucks. I think just the opportunity, the prize fund itself is going to be one of those things where either my concern with Crata was it looks super cool, but it's only going to be as useful as there are people to build something on it who dive in and do something with it. So Crata could either crater, or it could end up as like, did you see this thing and YouTube videos and this crazy game where people, do stuff in Little Big Planet or Dreams, that they make these insane things. And if we get people who are maybe a little Lua savvy and who maybe do a little design, and they start making crazy things on Crata, hopefully things that don't replicate other IP and get struck, but that could almost be bigger for Stadia than a lot of other. We know we're going to get the games. We know we're going to get the EA stuff and the Madden and the FIFA and the Jedi and all that stuff. But when somebody comes out with this, you can only do this on Stadia thing, like some of the stuff we've seen on Minecraft that people build, or or Little Big Planet, that's going to be a game changer for Stadia. And the fact that they're putting a check behind it makes it a little bit more likely.
Don't forget also Andy Morphs in the community is also running a 48-hour game jam where I believe there's going to be various members of the Stadia content creator community, coming together to create some sort of game in Creator. I am part of that as well. I don't know if any of you guys have signed up as well. I have no idea how useful I'm going to be because I've never used LuaScript, or obviously I've never used Creator as well. So I could be really useful or I could be really, really rubbish. So we'll see. We'll see on the night. So, yeah. Anybody else got anything to add before we move on to the next one? No.
Just looking
No.
forward to Creator. And if you don't know, to the people watching, Creator is going to be free for Stadia Pro members.
It is, yeah.
And you can purchase it as a Stadia base member if you like.
So the next thing Duncan touches on is obviously all the features that we're going to get with Stadia. And I think he goes on to say things like the fact that we've got no patches, no hard disk space, things we've already talked about in this podcast as well. Things like Stream Connect, which we're starting to see more and more of in games as well. And some of the features that we haven't yet got on Stadia, such as crowd play, crowd choice, all those type of things, being able to stream directly to YouTube, for example, which I'm guessing is by the fact that we tried to upload the Gods and Monsters thing earlier, is actually going to be probably more of a curse than a blessing in some cases. Anything to add to that one, guys? That's all.
Yeah, the no patches thing. That's, I don't know if you guys saw, was it today about Call of Duty Modern Warfare and the patch size?
Yeah, I think Tommy was on about that as well.
84 gigabyte, and you know, it was that big. It was a trend on Twitter. So you know, and then it turned out it was actually an error, some sort of a bug or something. It shouldn't have, the patch size shouldn't have been that big on Xbox in the first place. But you know, with Stadia, no patches, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
I used to play Warzone on PC, and I was enjoying it a lot. And the thing is, I never realized about the updates on the downloads because they're always in the background. But when I start the game, it's always doing like this 5-minute shader install. And it annoyed me to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm just going to uninstall this. It's not even worth it. And 5 minutes is actually a blessing apparently, because I have a decent PC. Most people who aren't fortunate enough to have a PC like that, they wait like 15 or 20 minutes. I found out, and at that point, I have no patience to launch a game and wait 20 minutes at the menu. So yeah, I would have uninstalled that ages ago.
So other things that I'm kind of going to speed through these as well, because I realise, well, Adam, you've got to go, haven't you, now? So we're losing Adam as well. We're proper like circling through the team today.
Yeah, it's getting a bit late for me, so I'm gonna have to head off. It's great speaking to you all. Avery, nice to meet you. Jem, nice to speak to you too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I shall see you all in the next one probably. Good night.
Bye, Adam.
Good night.
So yeah, I'll kind of whip through these ones a bit quicker. So obviously we've got Ubisoft, the likes of like Uplay Plus coming, as well as obviously the fact that Ubisoft is probably one of the biggest supporters of Stadia in terms of development studios at the moment. So we've got games coming from them to look forward to, like Ghost. Sorry, what was it? It was Rainbow Six. Sorry, the Quarantine and potentially Siege as well. We've got the Project Chimera and semantic markup language. So that's obviously kind of allowing people to create massive, persistent online worlds with very little code, because it basically uses artificial intelligence in order to boost productivity when it comes to these type of games. And obviously we've got the investments in Stadia Studios. So obviously we've got Stadia have invested in various studios, including ones like in Canada, and obviously we're going to be seeing the fruits of their labor, well, hopefully quite soon, to be fair. So any of you guys want to touch on any of those 3 points before we kind of wrap this up? Or
The Ubisoft thing, they might not be a partner anymore after after what happened with the Gods and Monsters. I wouldn't blame them. But no, I think they would continue to be partners, and Ubisoft is just amazing on Stadia. They're doing a great job and fantastic, and I wish all the other game companies would take a note from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Regarding what was the last point? It was the investment part.
Yeah.
I think we should honestly see at least one first party title in the next Connect. Like, I think it's time, because they've had over a year of development. Obviously, I'm not expecting the game to come out this year, but I don't know, Stadia, if you're watching, you need to put down at least one first party title, because every other game company is showing their best, and it's your time to shine. If like, this is so important, like your next Connect is going to be the key for this year, and just take it serious. I don't know what else to say.
And a couple of the trailers in The Escapist and in the PS5 today were coming 2022. So if they're already, those screens are not going to be the same in 2 years, but if there's something close enough to show a 15-second teaser trailer as a one more thing at the end and flash a Stadia Games and Entertainment logo on the end of it, that's going to be enough to at least reinforce to the community that they are investing, they are going to care. And if it says 2022, then we know they're in this for at least 2 more years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with Jem and Avery there. I think that we need to see some exclusives sooner rather than later, because we saw PS5 tonight. There were some great looking games coming, and Xbox. Okay, they're going to be, I think July, their event's going to be showcasing some of their first party games, but I think they own about 15 first party studios now or something like that. And they've all been working on games for a few years now. Some of them we haven't even got any clue what they're working on. My concern for Stadia is that they set up some of their first party studios quite late in the day, if you know what I mean. It was,
Yeah.
I think they set up the first one just before Stadia launched, and then the others sort of followed 2 months, 3 months after it launched. And it takes time to make these games, and if they're wanting to make some big AAA games, it does concern me that they could come a little too late.
And they've only bought the one in Typhoon Studios. Granted, I have to imagine there are contracting discussions happening with other smaller ones that haven't already been picked up by Sony or Xbox. Thank goodness Nintendo doesn't buy everybody in the world to make games.
See, I'm really hoping with the Connect, that's when they'll do the big announcements for all the games that's coming to everything but us. But if they don't, then I do feel we'll just get pushed under the carpet and forgotten about in the gaming kind of sense.
Yeah. So I guess it all kind of hangs on the next Connect whenever that comes. We know it's coming at summertime, but we don't have an official date yet. So, and like I said, Stadia have been quite radio silent up until recently. So we're probably not going to get an official date for that anytime soon, I don't think. But unless there's anything else you guys want to add to what we've talked about today, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Me. That's about
It's been great having you here as well.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for letting me in at the last minute there.
That's all right. Yeah, definitely go and check out, obviously, Gem Stadia's YouTube channel and Twitter. You can plug them if you like now, Gem.
Sorry? Oh,
plug your social media.
Oh, all right. I'm on Twitter, on YouTube, just YouTube Gem Stadia. I don't really care. I'm just happy to be here. I do want to say one thing. I really I'm new to this this community with Stadia. I have been making Stadia videos for a long time, but I'm new to being part of this Stadia community, and I love it. It just feels like a family. We're quite small, but we all know each other, and it's like a family. And it reminds me of those back in the day when I used to play World of Warcraft, and when you had your guild, that was your family, that was your bond. You even expanded outside of WoW and just talk about real life stuff. And then but that's a guild in a video game, but this is a whole platform, and there is so much stuff coming for Stadia in the future, and we're all going through that together, and we're just making it through every week with all these content videos. And I remember a few months ago, you guys did, I wasn't even included in this, you guys did like this weekly event where people are playing like 40-player grid mode. Next day, let's play this game. Next day, play that game. Like you're all like uh, working together, making sure Stadia succeed. And I've never seen a community like this for any platform. And from the bottom of my heart, I love it so much, and I'm glad that I finally joined into this community.
Yeah, well, hopefully on. You're referring to the Stadia Super Saturdays?
I guess so. I don't know what I didn't even know it was still going on. Actually, this was a few months ago.
Yeah. So we had like a 24-hour event where literally we divided the day up into hour slots, and we had someone streaming in every single hour of the day for the whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
So who knows? You could be part of the next one.
I'm lazy in general. I'll
you only have to
join
do
in as a
you only
player.
have to do an hour. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'll stream from the bathroom.
From the toilet, from your razor Kishi.
As long as there's no camera, that's all we care about.
No, don't worry. There's a reason why I don't have webcam on right now. It's because your antivirus softwares can't handle my face.
That's why Peasant Boy there's not got his on as well.
Screw you.
So I'm just going to go ahead and give a big shout out to all of our patrons as well, as we usually do at the end of the show. Big thanks to all of you who support the website and the YouTube channel. It's letting me scroll for some reason. That's nice.
Try the arrow
Firefox has
keys.
decided to do a not responding on me, but great. Can you guys hear me still? Because you've all frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Firefox is just being stupid, but yeah, every single one of you who supports us on Patreon is. Oh, there we go. It's decided to catch up. You mean the absolute universe to us that you want to help us, and obviously all of the donations that we get go straight back into the site as well. So massive thank you to all of you guys, and if you're looking to become a Patreon as well, there are some perks that you can get along with it. If you just look at the bottom of any Stadia Source page, there's a link to become our Patreon at the bottom there. So yeah, that's the show for the evening. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Jem, thank you for joining us. Avery, thanks for dropping in at the last minute and introducing yourself. We will introduce you shortly on the website to everyone as well. So I hope you guys have had fun. I hope everybody in the chat's had a good evening.
I have now.
Blimey, it's
And,
midnight.
I know it's midnight here. Yeah, everyone's
I've
gonna
got
get
7
to bed
o'clock.
after
I don't know what y'all are talking about. It's sunlight outside right
this.
now.
Day's just starting for you. So yeah. Anybody else want to say anything before we leave? Before I close this up?
Happy
No,
to be here.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. See you guys
Cool.
on the next one.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Bye bye.
Farewell, humans.